Good evening, good evening, good evening. It's Monday night, 8 p.m. UK time at least. It's probably something else everywhere else. It is your Plastic Crack podcast. I felt the whole start was just going to go tits up straight away. I'm just like...
Dom, the talking flock.
Yeah. We were all sitting here before this started saying how knackered we were, and I came in with a bit of energy, and they just went...
Yeah. Oh, God. He's in one of those moods.
Blame Brian.
I'm blaming Brian. Yeah, I ran out of Brian. Right. Welcome to the Monday Night Plastic Crack podcast. Up there in that corner, you have Martin's seventh son. Over there is Steve.
Right.
On Point HQ.
Right.
And here are the dancing hands that everyone gets upset about.
Oh, yes.
Dear. We're back for an evening of frivolity and stupidity, and I thought tonight we're going to talk about what killed your favourite game and why did you let it happen? Lots of good comments on the Facebook page. So
they were sensible.
They were very sensible. Martin's already worried me by saying he's come with a curveball here, so I'm thinking, oh Jesus, where's this going to go? Thanks to everyone who will be watching this on catch up. Thank you very much indeed, and quite a lot of people now are watching or listening on Spotify. You get the numbers the other day. It's like 500 or 600 people downloading it. It's like, what the hell's going on? It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's crazy. So if you are on Spotify, let us know, because it's it's nice. I know there are a few people who joined the Facebook page who said, I was listening on Spotify, and then I fully tracked you down on Facebook and then started to watch it live. So good. Anyway, and also thank you to our friends at Boards and Swords, as always, who sponsor this stream. Give us a very generous 5% off everything they sell with the code PCP5. Let's have a look and see who's in the chat. There were lots of people in really early. In fact, there was somebody in who was like 3 days early, I noticed. Probably before.
Very eager. They are very
keen. Very keen.
Very keen. In fact, it was so early, it's actually dropped off the comments. How funny is that? It was somebody who said, I might not be on, so I'm just saying hello, and then disappeared. I should have kept a screen grab of it. Anyways, got Mobile and Hostiles here. He said, have a great evening. All work means I'm catching up tomorrow. Just want to say a huge thanks to everyone who put on so many amazing games at Partisan. I also shopped until my wants list turned to ash. Well done. Well done, Mobile. Some of those I've seen some of the pictures from.
Oh God, yeah.
Partisan. Gee whiz, that looks such a good show. I keep saying it. One year I will get there to one of the two. There's two of them, for goodness sake. I must be able to get to one of them. So yeah, Nick Dawes is here. Traj is here. Hello, mate. Trevor. Good evening, Lionheart, Ed James, Grant, the tabletop Jen, 8:30. Hello from Texas, working on some footsore Normans to flavour up my barren war retinues. Nice. Okay, that's a good way to go. Martin's here. Oh, well done. Lynn, hi there. Good. We moved. Paul here. Good evening, mate. Paul's doing a bit of Greek mythology, working on Foundry Medusa. Nice. That's a good old retro model, that one. Anders here is here. I can't bloody speak either tonight. God, it's going to be a great stream. Ken, the eccentric man. Good evening. Currently basing halflings. Something I wasn't expecting to do. Carl Burks is here. Slapshot 2K. Hey guys, he says. Good. Hey guys to you too. Daniel's here. Hello from Los Angeles, working on Epic Warpath tonight. Slapshot says, first time watching live in quite a while, painting epic scale Swedish for my 30 years war army. The Swedes always get +5 on every combat. That's the rule, isn't it, Martin? Something like that? Yeah, everything. Plus, Swedes always get +5 on every combat.
Automatic.
Automatic. Doesn't matter what they
Automatic.
Whatever period.
Yeah.
Neil's here. Krusty Colonel, good evening. Robin's here. Hello, mate. Nick Games. Good evening, sir. Rich John is here. Mortzik is here. Alex Storm of Steel. Evening all. Putting some finishing touches on to a French frigate tonight. I had to say that very carefully. Seriously, War Games here says afternoon from a sunny Ontario. Spring has finally sprung. Working more of guards of traitors' toll figures tonight. Ooh. I must watch that video. I haven't watched that one yet. I saw it came up.
I really enjoyed doing it. Yeah, I really enjoyed doing it. I'm doing some more little bits for it tonight. So that was a lot of fun. I've got to say, it did way better than I thought it was going to do. I was a little bit apprehensive when I put it out. I was like, this is, because we talked about it last week about, solo gaming. And it's like, oh god, it's just me chuntering, because you have to edit the thing as well. So I edited,
and you have to listen to yourself again.
Yeah, I had it. Yeah, more so, because at least normally there's a bit of like banter with Robin or Haley or you or someone, and you can listen to that. And I was like, oh no, I'm just chunting away at myself. And I think there was 3 hours of footage that I edited into 45 minutes.
Oh, that's a good job. Well done.
And it's like trying to keep on. I sat there going, I can hear myself. I'm just sitting there going, what am I talking about? It must be as I was looking up a rule, and I'm just muttering to myself. And you're editing, and you're like, what am I saying? And sometimes, I don't know if you guys do this. Sometimes when I'm filming, I'll make a note for future me when I'm editing. So I'll say something. I'll be looking up a rule, and I'll say, right, remember to put a thing on the screen that says I've screwed this up, or say it says. So I can't not watch the bit because I can't remember where I said them. A sensible person would have a little notepad and write down roughly when these things happen. But no, I forget to do that. So yeah, I sat through the whole thing. But no, it was really fun. It was it was a lot of fun. I did a little challenge for people to name the horse of Percival Plumridge, thinking I might get 1 or 2, and I've had a lot. Some amazing ones like what was it, like Bastard the Wonder Horse or something like that, or Carrot. And then what was it like? Yeah. What was it? Coconut Hooves, and I think I've picked the one I want though. It's quite funny, but there's some bloody good ones in there. There's some really funny stuff.
It should be called Glue, shouldn't it?
That's it. No, someone said I should call it Loctite.
Loctite, good. There's
Loctite. Loctite, Prit, Glue, Uhu. There was quite a lot of glue ones. Yeah, that was. I know which one I'm picking though, and yeah, it was just a lot of fun. So I'll do some more. I was planning.
As I was saying before we went live, I was away for work in Newcastle, and I saw it pop up on my timeline. I just didn't have time to watch it, so that's going to be something. Real Steve's here. He says, "Evening all, nearly alive after last week's lurgy."
Good.
Steve Harbour's here. He says, "Painting some ECW for CrackCon. Looking at the title. Is this just going to be Dom talking about SPQR?" No, you have to like the game or you ditch it, mate.
No, as I say, the game had to be played. Like, it had to be playable on release.
Exactly. You can't just. I mean, if we all just burnt any games that were just utter dog shit, then that would be different. Frank's Miniatures here. Who else we got? John's Shepherd is here. Good evening. Wow, I've spent a fortune these last 2 weeks. I blew about £400 and then nearly £400 at Partisan yesterday. Blimey, John. Crikey. Can I introduce you to my wife and you can explain your spending versus mine? Because I'm sure then I'd have some brownie points. It'd be fantastic. Who else have we got? Oh, we got Stanis Van Buran. Oh, I've probably butchered that. Greetings all from Prague, the Czech Republic. Good evening, mate. Nice to see you.
Good evening. Hey.
Mark Bross. Who else we got here? Rich M. Hello, good evening. Still in shock after finding a whole new project's worth of miniatures in my backpack after returning from Partisan. That happens, mate. It just somehow they just appear in your backpack, and there's a corresponding large amount of money disappeared out your bank account. Satchel's here. Good evening, Martin. Good evening, David. as well. Red Steph, hello, mate. The Walkabout Games, I think we're getting to the bottom. Christoph, good evening, mate. James Mortz is here. Hello, mate. Or Moggs is here. Congratulations. I think you won an award at Partisan, didn't you? Very good indeed.
It did look very cool.
Look very cool indeed. Major Clanger, good evening. Alec, hello, Alec. I thought you were on holiday, mate. Good to see you. Who have we got? I think we're almost at the bottom. I think everybody I have picked. Lazy Pirate, good evening. GC Murray, hello. Good evening from a showery Perthshire, working on some more Star Wars Legion. I'm sure that one's going to feature in the discussion. Dwarven Moustache is here. And I think I've talked to everybody. So, Table General says, I thought Loctite was the name of the bar wench.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh, dear. It's going to be one of those nights. I feel it. Right. Let's have a look at what we've all been working on. Steve, I know you've been up to some interesting stuff. So, do you want to talk about? No,
I've painted
about your game that you played.
Oh, that. Oh, yeah. I've not painted anything for a week. Longer than that, actually. I had a bit of a break. I've been just concentrating on X-Wing, which shall be mentioned in the subject of this video in a very short time. Yeah, I've been last week. Dug out all my X-Wing stuff. Spent the week just binging videos from 10, 12 years ago. And then on Friday night, I had my first game of X-Wing in 9 years, and it was absolutely brilliant. Enjoyed every single minute of it. Did
you play first edition?
Yes, we did.
That's really good to hear, Steve, because I was really worried that after all that time you play it and you go, oh, God.
No. The night before, I was sat here putting some lists together for me and my mate, and it just brought it all flooding back from all those galaxy along, far, far away. It was really good. So we played Friday night with Scum versus Rebels. Just a great game. Some cracking dice rolling. Some great narrow escapes. Lost by 8 points, but it doesn't matter. It's Star Wars. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. Yeah, really, really good. Really enjoyed it. And I've been looking on eBay to plug. When I stopped playing, all my X-Wing stuff got put in 2 big boxes and just put away. So it's all where it should be. So getting out again was brilliant. But there's a few bits and pieces from first edition, sort of ships that I never got around to picking up. And I thought that they would be ridiculously expensive online, and they're not. And I know it's only it only stopped getting Second Ed came out in 2018, so it's not a massive time away. But I thought. People stick ridiculous price tags on sort of out of production stuff on eBay. So no, I'm going to be perusing that over the next couple of weeks just to pick up ships that I never got around to picking up years ago that are still on there. So yeah, so last week was all about X-Wing. I must have watched, I don't know how many X-Wing videos. It's great watching the old tournament games from sort of 2013, 2014, because they're presented it's like a sports event. They've got commentary and everything. It's brilliant. But I absolutely binged that. My mate had a great time. I had a good time. I even had a kebab, which I don't normally do. So yeah, X-Wing and a kebab. What a Friday night living the dream.
Friday night that is.
Living the dream. But no, this week I'm going back to Baron's War. I'm currently sticking green stuff on Farmyard Animals. I got a bit of bolt action planned as well. So yeah, it's nice having a week away from the desk. So it's been good.
Sometimes you need that, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, apparently Mogsy didn't win anything. Sorry, you should have done, mate.
You should have done.
It was Ruckus and Shrewsbury and Mercia and Wargames, Strategy and Soldiers. Yeah, okay, sorry. Well, you should have done, mate. And Alex is calling in from Corfu. Oh, that's good to see. Relaxing after the day, walking around the shops in the old town, eyeing up some nice-looking Greek hoplite stuff. Tempting. Step away. What happened the last time I went to Greece, I ended up getting really excited about a certain rule set that's already been mentioned tonight and buying a whole load of stuff that when I came back painted up and then disappointment. That's all we're going to say.
It was a Greek tragedy.
It was an absolute Greek.
Bravo.
Very well done. Well done indeed. James says he got the giant Imperial Raider for X-Ring. Proper bargain at 20 quid from Wayland Games.
I got the Tantive it was an Amazon sales a couple of days, and it was about £20 off. I was like, ooh, it's huge. It's like that big. It's massive. We just use it as scenery sometimes in games rather than play it as the actual ship. Just use it as scenery and have little ships zipping around it.
You have to let me know which ones you're after because I've got loads that they're in the boxes. I've got the Millennium Falcon somewhere. I think lots of people had that, but yeah, I have a lot of random ones, lots of just random ones that
I started
me for Christmas and things.
I started buying the last wave I was really into was the Scum and Villainy, and I've got most of them. Just a few bits and pieces that I didn't get around to get. I even picked up the Hound's Tooth, and it's massive. Absolutely massive, but a great looking and iconic ship. My mate once took that to a tournament and he'd never played it before. He didn't do very well. In fact, in 2 of his games, in his first 2 games, he flew it off the board twice.
I think the last game of X-Wing I played, because I played quite a lot of it as well. And the guy I was playing against, well, I say the guy I was playing against was actually my little cousin, but he's got like a photographic memory, and he's I played Magic the Gathering against him, and it's horrific. But basically, he had the shuttle, the Imperial shuttle, like
the
Lambda class shuttle, the one from Return of the Jedi that Vader's in, the 3-winged one, right? And it can just stop.
Yeah,
it can not move. So I was planning like, it's going to go over here, but it stayed still and just rotated and just blasted everything on the board, and I was just saying, okay, that's not fun. I refused to play him after that. I think he was only 13.
I thought you were going to say he was running the shuttle Palpatine build, but basically the shuttle just flies around with Palpatine, and Palpatine once around can change a dice roll to whatever he wants. It's horrific.
Change a dice roll to. Oh my
yes, you can just change any results on a roll of dice.
How do you feel about that, Martin? You don't allow dice to be changed in a game. How about just change your dice to anything you like?
Oh, what with an ability?
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. It frustrates the hell out of me. Games where what annoys me more than anything is where you have an ability where the person rolls anyway to see if they get it, and then when they don't get what they want, it's like, I'm just going to change the dice.
Yeah, that's annoying. Yeah,
that winds me up. And if there's some kind of trade-off, like you've got to spend, I don't know, like mana or something to do it, then I don't mind as much because you're actually doing it. But when someone has an ability to change it to why even bother roll it? Because you should just do it before you roll. It's like they can do it, but they have to do it before they roll.
Yeah, it's only once a round, but I mean, 8 points for a crew member. It's a lot of points, but you do get the ability where you can just pile up a dice roll every turn. So yeah, nice. It was. But a few tournaments. I think I went to one tournament where about 4 people were flying the same list, which was Palpatine and a shuttle.
Somehow Palpatine returned. Many Palpatines returned.
So they're going to continue then the X-Wing addiction, or you?
Oh God, yes, I am. It just brought back so many gaming memories. I threw myself into that game so much. In fact, I'll talk about it a bit later in the subject because it's a happy and sad tale.
Oh, Andrew says he started buying Star Wars Imperial Assault stuff after selling it up 10 years ago, and now regretting it as the current prices are so steep. So it sounds like you got lucky there. Yeah. And we've got a couple of late arrivals. Hobby Brush, evening all late. Dock me a house point. You will, mate. And Benjamin's just turned up a bit late as well. Crikey. God, dear, oh dear. What about you, Martin? What have you been up to, mate?
I've been doing So I've been doing quite a lot. I'm carrying on this journey through editing. I've got a lot to edit, so I'll do that. But I mean, work at the minute is just so busy because we just got this really cool site, and I just want to be out there the whole time digging. And it's pretty hard after doing archaeology for nearly 25 years to actually find sites now that are sort of like to be really enthusiastic about, and I'm really enthusiastic about this one. In fact, I think the person who owns the landowner wishes I was less enthusiastic about it. I don't think they like
when
that
you
very
stop
much.
finding interesting things, Martin. We're trying to
I
build
know
it.
I can't help it. It's but it's very cool, mainly because it's all Iron Age, and that's my thing. That and medieval and my thing. So I've been doing a lot of getting videos ready. I have painted a lot. And I can't share a lot of it for reasons, because things haven't been announced or released. So in fact, I'm working on stuff right now that I can't share, which is kind of frustrating.
So the camera can't drop down, else you'll be in all kinds of problems.
Just looking around, there's a couple of things in here there's a couple of things there. But what I did do is actually there's something I painted up or started to paint up a while ago. And then I finished off the basing, and I actually owe Paul from Pursuit Miniatures a bit of an apology because he sent this to me to paint up a few months ago, and I did it. And then do you remember when I was off for a couple of streams? I wasn't very well, and I thought I'd finished it, and I genuinely thought that I posted it and I talked about it in an update. And I just had one of those moments where I looked at it on the shelf and I sat there going, I did do this, didn't I? So I had to go back and re-watch 3 of my updates because I thought I'd done it. And I sat there and I hadn't. And so I owe Paul a huge apology because he sent this. I sent in the pictures. It's just one of those mad moments where I just, I thought, so I painted it, did it, was ill, and then put it on there and then didn't make a video. So it was going to go as part of it. So anyway, Paul from Pursuit Miniatures, he commissioned and had made a piece of channel merch, and it's a Agincourt diorama, and he kindly sent me one to paint up, and it's about unhorsing. So anyway, here are some of the pictures. So nice. You get this nice sort of scenic base, and you get the figures obviously pulling the guy down off the horse. So it's nice to do something a little bit different. The figures are all metal. They're slightly they're 28. They're very similar to Perry 28s. Maybe even they're slightly finer in terms of
they look
size.
a little bit finer. Yeah.
But it's a very cool model. The thing that drove me mad slightly when I was painting it is that the only contact points are for the guy on foot, his feet, and the horse's hind legs. The guy who's getting pulled off the horse, there's no, he's just coming at the saddle, so you have to kind of glue. There are, on the scenic base, there are little nubbins to put them on, but I haven't put any glue on the model that's been pulled off. He's just there. He's been held together by string. But what I didn't want to kind of put glue on it and then it slopped, because I was quite pleased with how the armor came out, and I didn't want to slop glue down it.
It might show up under the saddle as well, wouldn't it? So yeah.
So I didn't want to. So he's actually on there with no glue. So he doesn't move. It's not like you're going to be wargaming with it anyway. So no. I know you could use it as an objective or just have it on as a bit of a diorama. But yeah, so I finished off the basing on that and got that up.
You're better than that.
Yeah. So I was pleased with it.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
I like your mud.
Different. Yeah. The mud is it's 2 different types of mud. It's AK Dark Earth, which is my go-to basing one, mixed with AK Wet Mud in certain places, and then on the dry areas, I use a few weathering pigments just to get that sort of powdery sort of effect, and then I use some water effect. There's like some little puddles, and then just sprinkled a few little leaves and that on there. I always like when I do water effect, I've got in the habit now of just sprinkling like leaves on it so you can see it, because otherwise,
that's so much mud. It's not far from being turnips. Good point, Steve.
That's a nasty thing to say, but no, it's a lovely. So I'd say big thanks to Paul for sending it over. It was nice to paint something. 15th, well, say 50, just 15th century. for a change. It's been a while. So is that the correct shade? Yeah, I actually zoomed in on the field and used the whole Google Earth thing where you can go back, a few years. In fact, I went all the way back to 14, 15.
Listen, there's anybody who knows a bit about mud, I'm gonna bet it's you. You're talking about that digging you doing it. So
Munsell colour charts. Yeah, don't. When you've got two people standing looking at the same bit of mud, and one says it's mid brownish grey, and the other one says it's mid greyish brown, and then they'll have a full on argument over it. Is it silty clay or clay silt, or is it gravelly sand? Or
the Eskimos allegedly have 400 words for different snow. Do archaeologists have 500 words for mud?
Pretty much, yeah. They all mean, well, I won't go into yeah, they all mean exactly. So you read the reports, and you have these we have most archaeological reports will have context descriptions at the end, and I'm still yet to meet anyone who actually reads them after we've written them. It's not interesting actually in any way, shape, or form. All right. He's the one who went and zoomed in on that river that we were playing a game next to and then he was like, it was blue on Google Earth, so it's blue on the table.
Oh dear, good grief. What else? Anything else? That's all you can talk about.
Yeah. So I was looking around. I've been working on a few sort of extra bits for Guards of Traitors Toll now that after that I'm adding a few just signposts, some little props that I sort of thought that would look quite cool. So they'll be in when I get a chance to do another solo one of those. I'll do that again because it was fun and people seem to find it funny. So I'll do another one.
I've seldom seen Martin as stressed out as he was when he was talking about playing that game solo, because you were getting yourself all a little bit worked up and thinking, oh no, I don't want to do this. I don't know how it's going to work. Now look at you.
Yeah. I know. Well, this will be the whole start of a thing.
Suddenly you can mug off Robin and Haley and everyone else and just play with yourself, so to speak.
Well,
move on. John, thank you so much for that. He says, the first £400 was buying up Star Wars Shatterpoint stuff before the scalpers picked them all up, and the party's only got the King John book and loads of other books. Good on you, mate. Thank you for that.
Thanks.
Lovely. Very generous.
What have you been up to, Dom? What have you been doing?
Well, as I say, I wasn't around an awful lot this week again, so I haven't done a huge amount because, frankly, I haven't been here and I've been really tired, so I haven't done as much as I would normally do. So I did a couple of buildings, though. These have been sitting around waiting to be done for ages.
Oh, tabletop workshop.
Yeah, I've been painting them too.
It's just kind of a nice and easy thing to do, just to sort of when you've got a little bit of time, but not too much time. So so it's good to get that one finished, and it's been sitting around undercoated for God knows how long. So it was nice to get that done.
I've had that for years, right? And I had it painted, and it was when I painted it up, I thought this is such a straightforward but bland model. I know what I'm gonna do. So I've done all the interiors. Is that the stable?
Yes, I think
So I've done like a big stack of hay in there. I've got tools leaning up against it. I don't think I've ever taken the roof off in one battle report, and I've had that for about 6-7 years, and I've never actually opened it. I've done all the inside out. I've done it on all of them. I did the whole inside of a chapel and did like stained glass and like lighting effects with the candles up. Never opened it on the battle report.
Life's too short, mate. Life's too short. No, I didn't bother. And then I did this one's another one I'd had for ages. In fact, I did paint this, but it again, I don't know what else. I picked up some of these resin models from ages ago, and I know I washed them because I know sometimes particularly resin, needs to be washed properly and what have you. But for whatever reason, the paint would not stick on this. So I stashed it in a big box of things to be approached again, and then I had another go at it, washed it all again, reprimed it, and redid it. And it's so far seems to be holding. So
that's cool.
So another building done. I think that's actually all the buildings I've got. Oh no, I have got a whole stash more. I've lied. I've just realised. And then I did a few more 10 mils. So these are metal. I think these are Pendragons. I forget now. Let's go with my the Agincourt forces.
Oh,
These
nice.
are Welsh spearmen, I believe. So I've done them up and put a couple of command groups in them and a couple of flags, just because they look pretty that way. And yeah, that's all I've done this week. It's all I've done. But there's a couple of things I'm planning to work on, but I mentioned in a video I did, the last update video I did, I've kind of been in a weird old place with the gaming, and someone said that you just got burnt out. Maybe I am a bit burnt out, but I don't know. I think I've just been so busy with life and work and other stuff. I just really going to get my head around it, and that's not bad. That's not a problem. In fact, Gamer Graham down the club said, "Are you all right, mate? You sounded so depressed in your last video." And I thought I wanted to come and give you a cuddle. I was like, "Oh, blimey, not that bad, is it?"
Yeah,
Apparently it was. Yeah. So I gave him a cuddle anyway because he felt like he needed it. So yeah. So there you go. That's what we've been up to.
I think sometimes with that, I mean, I've always said that I use painting and the hobby as a way to de-stress from work. But conversely, sometimes work can be so busy and my brain is a bit leaky at work sometimes that I don't want a hobby when I finish. I just want to get on a couch and watch some true crime documentaries on YouTube. So
yeah, I got something to tell you guys after the stream about true crime.
Okay.
True crime.
Oh, God.
Had a bit of a faux pas. Let's just say, is it gonna matter? No, I don't think it
You've just had this in there. You could have leave.
All right. So, well, I suppose the thing I'm most embarrassed with. So last night, Haley went to see Blue in Ipswich, and I did not go. Believe it or not, that's not quite my bag. But Haley went, so she had a few glasses of wine. She took herself to Ipswich and had a lovely time. And I said that anyway, the train's really late, so I had to come. Me go and pick her up. So anyway, she didn't realise it was on Sunday when she booked it. So I had to get the kids into the car. You know, there they are with their pajamas. They just slept in the car. And my daughter, my eldest one, Tessa, has got an eye mask. This is relevant. So I don't know what. Someone gave it to her at Christmas, and now they are absolutely. Anyway, so she pulled down the eye mask. So I'm driving along, and as we've discussed before, I'm quite partial to a true crime podcast or documentary. I don't listen to them as I'm driving. So, and I do this all the time when I'm driving for work. So I didn't even really think anything about it. So I just had it because they were asleep, right? So anyway, I go down the A14. It's about a 20-minute drive, and then I got to Ipswich and pulled in, and the thing ended, and then I just hear this voice from the back going, just went. So why did he put the body in the marsh? So I turn around and Tessa is there with her, and she goes, "I pulled down the mask, but I thought it was so interesting I couldn't go to sleep." I was like, Oh, great! Oh, I'm really sorry, Tessie. Yeah, you probably shouldn't be listening to that. And then he was, then she said, she goes, "It was so interesting. I think it's because I read all these. Because she reads Sherlock Holmes, these kind of abridged kids versions of Sherlock Holmes. Because I love Sherlock Holmes. It was just really interesting. And I won't go into it about how this murder occurred, but it wasn't particularly pleasant. I'm going to definitely, if she brings this up, I'm getting called into the school." And then she said to me, and then like there was sort of like, "Oh, you know. So why was there a bag on its head on the body?" And I was like, why was it in a marsh? And why did he do that before a hurricane? That's a good way to disguise the. I was like, "Oh, okay." And then she said to me, so he's 44 and he went to prison for 50 years. So he'll be 94 when he gets out. And I sort of going, "Oh yeah." And then looking at my watch, going, "Hurry up, Haley, because I need you to get in the car and distract them." And then she said, I said, "Well, yeah, but." You know, he's obviously been found guilty. I said, if he's got 50 years, then, you know, and essentially admitted it, you know, he'll probably won't get out of prison. And she, you know, he probably die in prison. And she went, "Well, the oldest person lived to 112, Dad, so he could get out, and then he would be able to do it again, wouldn't he?" My daughter's not even 10. My daughter's 10 next month.
Oh, right. My goodness.
And then, of course, Haley got in the car. What did Tessa just told her? And I've got this
Oh, cool.
Haley looking at me going, "What have you done?" I was like,
What
"Yeah."
the heck are you
it's gonna be-
talking about?
Yeah. So yeah, that was so yeah. Note to self: even if the kids are asleep, they're not asleep. Don't listen to true crime charts in there. So yeah, and then she proceeded to recall it all to Haley. Yeah, the victim was called this, and oh god, my other daughter was
brilliant.
Yeah,
that is brilliant. It's not as bad, but I don't think. But I still remember we came down one morning and found Imogen sitting by the television, watching and rewinding all the Uruk-hai scenes from Lord of the Rings films constantly. And she was about 6 years old, and she just kept rewinding them, saying, "They're really good. I like them." And I'm thinking, social services might want a word with us on this.
Yeah. Like it's all that kind of stuff. My dad told me that when I was when he was teaching me to I used to go to my swimming lessons, and then I was like 6 or 7, and when I come back he showed me the minecart chase in Indiana Jones and the Temple, and I was obsessed with the minecart chase. Absolutely obsessed with it. So when I think my mum like recorded over it like for ER or EastEnders or something, and I was absolutely inconsolable after, because I went swimming and then I watched the minecart chase and I ate my Karamak, and while I watched the minecart chase, and then I went to bed.
Brilliant.
So it's funny, kids are raised like that. So yeah, I might have.
Well, Paul thinks you've done proper fathering there. History, maths, right and wrong, science. What's wrong with that? Absolutely.
And she doesn't she like rotting Christ as well?
Yes. I did get called in. I had to go to it. That was in the old school in Cambridge. The teacher, they went around. It was like the start of year 2, and they were doing music. Like, who do you like? Who do you like? And they're like, I don't know, Bob the Builder or Bluey or whatever. And she said, what do you like? He's like, Rotting Christ. And it's all because there was a song I was listening to. Because it sounds, there's a side I was basically he did Edgar Allan Poe's poem The Raven.
Oh yes.
So they've done a sort of I wouldn't say a cover of The Raven, but they've done a song called The Raven, and they've got a guy that's reading the actual poem, and it's really atmospheric. But in the music video, it's just a raven flapping around, and just a red triangle appears. I don't know why. I can't remember what the significance of it is, but there's the red triangle appears on the screen. So Tessa, so she said at school, they were like, and the teacher went, "Oh, that's interesting." And Tessa went and said, "I like the Red Triangle song, Red Triangle." So I when I went to pick her up, the teacher said, "Mr. Brooke, can I please speak?" Yes. Hello. How can I help?
You are going to be on a special list in the schools in your area.
Hey, she's just getting into. Like I said, she's quite into Arch Enemy at the minute. Old Arch Enemy, new Arch Enemy. The fact that the Arch Enemy singer just left and started her own thing, so now Tessa likes that. I might have screwed her up before she's 10.
Oh, God. Oh my goodness, that is brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, right. That wasn't where I was expecting tonight to go at all.
Yeah, sorry.
So should we get on to our topic tonight? That's priceless. Oh yeah, that came to mind, Carl. I have to say, Carl says the Red Triangle used to be a thing in the early days of Channel 4 for some really dodgy films. Yes, it's true, it did. Allegedly, somebody told me once. I never watched anything like that. Right, so tonight I thought we'd look at. I think as gamers of all different persuasions, we have a habit of getting really into certain games, and then something happens. They may not be supported anymore. They may do a different update. People may move away, and we stop playing the game. And I'm kind of fascinated by this. Why it happens, why we do it, what happened to your favorite game, but also why do we let it happen? And I'm guilty of this all the time. So I'll give you one really clear example of this. So I've mentioned it before. I used to play a lot of Warhammer Ancient Battles back in the day. Loved it. Still got all the books. Fantastic. Really, really good. Games Workshop at the time, who it came from, decided they weren't going to support it anymore. And they basically cut it off cut it off at its knees, and that was it. Stop. There were going to be no more supplements, no more coming out, and everybody I knew stopped playing it. Well, it's still a very, very good game, and I know the exceptions. There are a lot of people who do continue with different rule systems and different games, but on the whole, a lot of people just dump them, and I've been guilty of it in a number of games. That's just one of them. So I thought it would be interesting to explore this and why we do it, and whether we can learn anything. Martin, you've got a curveball. I know you've got that little smirky face. That I can
it's probably
see.
not best to start with me because
All right, well,
start with
Steve,
someone who's actually more about wargaming. Because mine's not.
Steve, what have you been? What sort of game? What games did you absolutely love and couldn't stop playing, and then for some reason, why did they die? And why did you move on?
Well, like I mentioned before, it's X-Wing. Now, I bought my very first copy of X-Wing in January 2014. I'd seen it on a forum. Me and my mate were like, the first time we'd seen it, and I was like, this looks so cool. It's Star Wars, little ships. It just looks great. Because back when it first started, it was all early original trilogy ships. So it wasn't very expensive. I think the starter box was about 25 quid. And you got 2 TIEs and an X-Wing in it. And I'd watched some games on YouTube. I thought it looks really good. So I got one, and not long after my mate got one. And he came around here, and we were like, this is brilliant. This is really good. So we just started buying expansions and more ships and things like that. And it got to a point where my brother, he's not a war gamer at all. And I took it round his one Friday night, and I showed him how to play it. And within 20 minutes, he was on his phone ordering a starter box off Amazon. And even he occasionally still plays it with my nephew because they both love it. It was one of those games where the rules were simple, but it was a complex game to master. The list building side was just such a it was just so cool because you had 100 points to put your list together, and you had your different ship cards and your upgrades, and getting those 100. If you could get a list bang on 100 points, it was fantastic. And we'd be messaging each other during the day. I'll come with this list. I'll email it to you. Check this out. We'll test it at the weekend. And my mate would be around, weekend gaming, night gaming. We'd be testing lists, testing formations, testing tactics. And it just got to a point where we were playing it so much that we were like, well, there's local store tournaments. Mm-hmm. So there used to be a gaming store in St. Helens, which is just up the road. And we used to go in there, and there was store tournaments. I went to the Outpost in Sheffield one time. I think that was my very first X-Wing tournament, was the Outpost in Sheffield. Again, fantastic day, brilliant time. And anyone that we got involved bought a copy of the starter box. And a couple of guys I used to work with got into it as well, and they'd come around. We'd have all day X-Wing sessions on a Saturday. I mean, literally, we were talking 6, 7, 8 hours of just playing X-Wing all day and testing lists. And I loved it. It runs quite close to a second edition 40k. But it's probably the most involved I've ever been in a game, because I've never played a war game competitively. But X-Wing, I wanted to, because it was meeting. I mean, on me being sociable, meeting new people. X-Wing fans, Star Wars fans, rolling some funny dice, just having a great time. And loved it. Played it up until about 2017. Still buying the ship, still playing it. And then in 2018, they released second edition.
Is that when that was?
2018,
Jesus.
And I mean, yes, the game had become a bit unbalanced and a bit unwieldy, and there was so many FAQs and errata documents put out that sometimes before you went to a tournament, you have to make sure you've got the right errata and your list is built to, what's currently up to date. So we discussed it, and we thought, well, if they're going to re-release it and updated the rules, it's got to happen. But when it was announced, it was completely. They changed the mechanics. They changed the cards to use your old ships. And bearing in mind, we'd spent a small fortune
Yeah.
on these ships. You had to buy card upgrade boxes, and we both worked out that for the amount of ships that we had, we'd have to spend between 120 and 140 pounds on cards.
Yeah, they did it in a really weird way to packs, didn't they? It was done in waves, wasn't
Yes. So it was weird. Like if you ran tie swarm, you need a lot of cards. Like you got about eight ties in a tie swarm. And then we were reading reviews of it saying it didn't play well. And I was like, look, I'm not investing that amount of money in just cards just to play a game that I might not like.
Sorry, just go to cards because they didn't. You'd think what they would do and what some other people do is like release an Imperial pack, a Rebel pack, and a Scum and Villainy pack, and then just maybe a neutral upgrades. But they didn't, did they? You had to buy Wave 1, which came with Rebels, Imperials, and Scum and Villainy, and that might just have 2 of your ships. Then you had to buy the Wave 2 pack that had 4 of your ships.
So the money. Did the new ships, the new trilogy, come up before or after Second Ed? What they said was new edition ships came out, but people could use their old ones, so they didn't sell because why buy ships you've already got?
No.
So that was a bit of a failure as well. That the sales just weren't there, and then they went from, I believe they went away from traditional sit down with cards and pen and paper and I use an app to build your list. And that's I don't mind using apps for wargaming, moving with technology and all that. But for X-Wing, it's that tangible card thing in front of you. You've got your little tiny upgrade cards. That was part of it. Then it switched to a different company. So it went from FFG to Atomic Mass, I believe it was. And by then, I think people just stopped playing. We didn't even play second edition. It was a cost. It was.
So do you think, because you were playing tournaments and you were playing other people outside your group, if you hadn't have been, do you think you would have carried on playing with the first edition?
Oh God, yeah. If first edition would never have, if they'd have just released a new rule book. Here's the rule book. It's got all the errata, all the FAQs condensed into this rule. You just buy the rule book, but your cards, your tokens, your ships, everything stays the same. I guarantee I'd still be playing that today. I'd still be going to tournaments. I'd still be going to stores. I absolutely guarantee it because there was such a good day. I mean, you look at some tournaments and they just look so serious, really serious. Yeah. But with these ones, they weren't. Everyone was laughing. Everyone was quoting from the films. You hear people making TIE fighter noises. And so it was a really good atmosphere, and everybody helped each other, and it was competitive, but it wasn't to the degree that you wanted to deck your opponent. Because they were being cretinous. It was just a great community and a great atmosphere. So absolutely, if they'd have retained first edition, I'm pretty confident that I'd still be playing that. My mate would still be playing it.
It's interesting because again, much like that with back in the day, I used to play ancient competitions, 6th edition WRG, and then we moved to 7th edition WRG, and then they stopped that and they did that god awful DBM and DBA, which we hated, and so we stopped doing it. And it was a similar thing because we played tournaments. We went to competitions. I mean, they weren't overly competitive. Some of them were, but they weren't overly so. We stopped playing the rules. Whereas if we loved the rules and the game it played, and I always wonder, if we hadn't been doing competitions, would we have carried on playing it? Because why would you stop? Because if your mates are playing it,
I mean, when we first started playing, I had no interest in tournament.
Right, Tredge. Definitely.
I had no interest in tournament play at all. I've never been a competitive player, but it felt different with X-Wing. It felt different because it was just a unique game. It was just, and like I said, the community was great. It was great to be a part of. So many forums. But it was around about this time, sort of 2017-ish, is when me and my mate really started playing bolt action. So the decline in playing X-Wing was replaced by an uptake in playing bolt action. So one replaced the other. But I massively missed playing X-Wing because it was just just great memories of it. And we were both so enthusiastic about it, and I've never thrown myself into a game like that before, and it was brilliant. It was just so cool. So last week when I dug out all my old X-Wing stuff, and I realized just how much stuff I'd accumulated in only about 2.5 years. Just for some great memories, and then building those lists for me and my mate to use, just brilliant, just a great time. So yeah, it's a bit sad the way that it went, because when you look back at the old first edition battle reports that people did, check out the Covenant website. They used to do coverage of the World Championships in Minnesota. And there's just some great games, there's classic lists and, famous players like, Nathan Eady and Paul Heaver. And, Paul Heaver's lists were like world famous. And yeah, it was a completely different game to anything I'd ever played before. And the good thing about it was there was no painting, absolutely no painting. You could paint your ships if you wanted to. A lot of people did, but when you get your ship, you get it home, you open the box, it's good to go. It's there. You can start.
Lots of people did engine glow, didn't they?
Oh yes,
just like
I repainted one of my B wings to set it aside from the others, and I put some weathering on my YT 1300. But apart from that, I think I funkied up a couple of X wings as well. But I didn't do a lot because I just thought I don't need to spend time painting. These are straight on the tabletop. In fact, I remember
the game that you enjoyed, not the painting. You didn't need to. Yeah,
didn't need to. It was all about the gaming, the list building, the tactics, the formations. I mean, loads of times where I could tie Swarm out and practice flying them in formation around asteroids. Just so unique, just so different. And then, like I say, it just fizzled out for us, and it was when I packed it all away, I was a bit sad. I was like, there's a good chance I'll never play this again. But having played it again on Friday night, I am determined.
You're fully back on it.
Oh, God.
Do you know what? You're inspiring me to have a go back to Warhammer Ancient Battles, because similar to you, I realised when I was thinking about all this was that kind of almost hunting for that game again that I used to love playing. Because we had so many fun games. It was such a good system. And even talking to a couple of the guys down the club, they used to play it as well. And I'm sure if I brought it back. But I think it's almost you're worried that it's not going to be as good as you remember. And so after all these years, but you're saying the X-Wing is, and that's great.
No, it was. I mean, top stuff, Andrew. Absolutely brilliant.
Hey, that's a hashtag I blame Steve. We haven't had that one for a while.
We haven't had that for a while. No, I mean, I think that there is a danger with going back to a game you've not played. I mean, I've not played that in 9 years. I've not played it. My last game would have been probably about July or August of 2017. Because when we used to have a store in town, I used to pop into there on a Saturday occasionally. We play a couple of games in there, or we play here on a Saturday afternoon. So it must be mid to sort of autumnish 1917.
You are really causing havoc tonight, mate. James has got £100 of X-Wing in his eBay basket right now.
But no, I had no worries whatsoever that when we played on Friday that I wouldn't enjoy it. And the daft thing is, I went through the rules quickly, but it's amazing just how quickly the rule your brain muscle memory comes back in.
Yeah.
And we didn't have to look at the rule book once, which for a game that you've not played in 9 years, it was a great feeling. And my mate hadn't played it in that long either, and he's not a gamer, he just likes Star Wars. And so I basically sat down and we had like a 10-minute run through of what the rules are and what the ships do. And again, he just got it straight away, and we were playing within 25 minutes. So yeah, it's great when a game doesn't lose its quality like that. I mean, I can imagine there's loads of games you pick up now and you think,
well, that's what worried me. I wonder with that as well. It'd be interesting. Let us know in the comments whether there's also, because certain games sort of run their course, right? They're of their time in terms of the rule books. you just kind of move on. The mechanics were good then, but they're not so good now. But are there any rules that people have sort of just they've had their time? That's all good. I'm happy with that. As I say, I still want to go back to WAB, Wargamers History. I love WAB. Yeah. I'd forgotten. Yeah. Mogsy did the El Cid one. That's brilliant. Yeah, those supplements were fantastic in WAB.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. Really, really good.
I think one day I might bite the bullet and get a mate round, try and play a game of Rogue Trader 40k, because I know some people have said it's very nostalgic, and it compared to games you played these days, it's not the game. And my worry is because it was a very strange game. It was a very odd game, but it was my introduction into wargaming. So my concern and my worry would be that I'd play it and I'd be like, my God, this is terrible. I don't think it would, but I think it'd be quite clunky compared to sort of any games I played after that.
Yeah. Paul says he tried to do a project for WAB after he chatted with me. Yeah, we did talk about that, didn't we? But the enthusiasm soon wore off because nobody wants to play it. Now we've moved on. That's what worries me. But then I've got the facility. I could play them solo. But then do I want to play? I don't know. It's just so difficult. So bloody difficult. But they were so much fun. Okay, Martin, hit us with your curveball. Come on.
Well, it's already a curveball, although I might lose some people for various reasons. Mainly because so I wanted to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, because when you said this,
hey, that's a good
the only one that really I've ever had this experience. I haven't really had this experience with wargaming. I mean, X-Wing is similar to Steve, but I wasn't as invested in it as Steve was. I think I had I don't know, about 7-8 Imperial ships. I say I've got loads of them because people kept on buying them for me. I still got them in the boxes, but we just kind of basically, because we just couldn't be bothered to buy the new cards. That's why we didn't carry on playing X-Wing. Some wargaming wise, I still mostly play the games that I want to play. If ever I don't think any game that I play has died. Maybe with the exception of War Machine, but we've kind of been over what happened to War Machine. Yeah. And that was just kind of, it was poised to take on GW and then just, spaffed it up the wall, basically, for lack of a better phrase. But the one that really kind of got me when you said this, and what was the which game, why did we let it die and why to go, was this one. And because we used to play Dungeons and Dragons a lot, like I've been playing TTRPGs as long as I've been wargaming, so I think I might even be a little bit longer. So probably from, I think my first one was about when I was 10 as I started playing D&D, and I've still got all those old books. And what happened was, after TSR sold it, Wizards of the Coast picked it up, and they released Dungeons and Dragons third edition, and it was phenomenal. It was awesome. It got rid of FACO, so you didn't have to you needed like a maths degree to try and work out what you needed to hit a goblin, but it was still, there was still lots of skills and tables, and that was ace. And we played that for years and years and years. And then Wizard of the Coast in 2008, so I got back from university, and I reconnected with my group, and we said, oh, there's a new edition of Dungeons and Dragons on the way. So this was 2008, and Wizards of the Coast released the 4th edition of Dungeons and Dragons, which did hugely split the sort of the community, I guess, is the way to, even though I didn't play, we had our own gaming group, so we went out, we all bought it, and it was a very, very different experience. Essentially, someone basically it answers the question: what if someone actually puts game design into a role-playing game where you don't actually want it? What if every class feels the same, and they just have different? They come out with different colored explosions. So the fighters all of a sudden had powers, the wizards had powers, the clerics had powers.
Oh God, no! You can't.
It's like, and at some point, and this is the big thing, and this is how I felt. and I get that new players to D&D, and if anyone does like 4th edition in there, yeah, cool. All power to you. I hated it. At some point, I stopped playing D&D, and I felt like I was playing World of Warcraft. And you had, people were saying, the game is, it's actually, it's really balanced. People saying they're trying to find balance in a role-playing game. It's like, yeah, but my breakfast is balanced. That doesn't mean I want to sit there eating it for 6 hours on a Friday night, and every combat encounter just became so tactical. It required sort of, like NATO levels of tactical acumen to try and like organize something. It's like, okay, I'll shift 2 squares and marking became, I'm going to mark the kobold. So Simon can trigger his immediate interrupt unless Steve is still weakened and dazed and emotionally unavailable because of the thing that happened last week. I'm coming on to that.
Hold on, horses there.
And that's basically it. So you had 4th edition, and then this came along. The answer, and Pathfinder basically, it basically walked into the room. It basically
I haven't played D&D since the 1970s.
No, this is Pathfinder. This is essentially Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition or 3.5, just rebranded under the license. Paizo used the Open Gaming license and just made this. I love this book. I would take this book to my grave. Basically, this is like how could I express? This is like an X turning up at just the right moment when you needed it. It's because this game understood something that that's really important, which is me and my friends and D&D players didn't actually want balance. We wanted options. Terrible, broken.
You had to build a band together that had different assets and skills.
Yeah,
together, wasn't it? That was all point.
Yeah, exactly. So this game looks at you and essentially says, yes, you can be a half undead gnome alchemist with 14 attacks and a pet lizard that worships Satan. Follow your dreams. And the other game was just like, no, everyone gets to do. They're like, no, why? I don't want a game where it says that the fighter and the wizard contribute equally. I want the wizard to basically have the powers of a god and the fighter carries his stuff. It's yeah. And it's absolutely fair because we gave 4th edition a really, really good throw of dice. We played it probably for about 18 months, 2 years, I'll say. Tried it. We organized big game nights. We tried different ways to approach the game, and we all just kind of came to the sort of like the same conclusion, which was just sort of like we're just not having fun anymore. So we stopped supporting it, and we went and supported this. And Paizo just put out supplement after supplement. There was loads of free stuff because it was part of the Open Game license. There were so many people who were just contributing to this, and they were making their own products. Whereas Wizards still had D&D. And the 4th edition fans because I knew some people who they liked 4th edition, they would always say things like, "Oh, you just don't understand or the design philosophy." And it's like, well, no, I do. I understand it perfectly, and that's why I don't like it. That's precisely it. And that was essentially it. We used to have great fun. Anything after AD&D first ed is not real D&D. I have AD&D 2nd edition, which is still called Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
I can't even remember which edition it was. I know I played the first, which was just D&D, and I did play Advanced D&D, but it was at school. I can't really remember. It was too long ago.
Yeah.
But, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I would love D&D. To play it again. I would really love to play again. But
I absolutely. But when you gave it took. I like role-playing games a little bit because of why I like Guards of Traitors Toll. Actually, I like that aspect of things being broken, a little bit broken. You need to be outmatched, but when the fighter can just set his sword on fire and do an attack, and then you have cooldowns because you had 4th edition introduced, so every class had a daily power. It had an encounter power, and it had like an at-will power. So I don't know, like you could taunt and make someone come and attack you, and there was lots of all of a sudden cards. You're sitting there going, "This is just like a cooldown bar at the bottom of the screen when you're playing, World of Warcraft and stuff like that." And Genuine early to absolutely. And we just, it took a brave moment because nobody sat there and when fourth edition went, I'm not having fun. We all kind of sat, I think we played like an all-nighter, and we all kind of sat there at the end of it when they were in the big boss battle and no one had any powers. And when you actually tried to do a normal attack, which is I just want to hit it with my sword, it just was so ineffectually crap and boring. It's like, I just want to go back to being able to just hit something with an axe and, use a rope to go up there, not cast some kind of, magical multicolored fire attack from a fighter's eyeballs. I just want to be Conan and do things. So Pathfinder came along for us. So we let it die in our gaming group because we just felt that the game, they made a decision and they supported it for years and years. And then 5th edition came out, and 5th edition kind of rolled it back to how it kind of used to be. It still kept a few things, but they kind of rolled it back. They simplified it. Whereas what I love about Pathfinder, and what I love about this is we still got where's the character sheet? Is it still in here? Yes, you have like it looks like an accounting form. Like you do your tax return on this. You have every skill on here. There is proper. You crunch every part of that. You want to make a gnome that he's he can be fierce with ninja stars or something, but he also has a sideline in a bread production bakery and all that. You could do it, and then the other one just kind of, I don't know, it got rid of that. I found the other one was really limiting, and that's why we let it. Yeah, we let it. You should answer your question why we let it die. So we didn't have fun, and then. But the good thing is that out of Pathfinder, because that went on to have a 2nd edition, out of Pathfinder, and since D&D 4th came out, it's been a big explosion in TTRPGs. So you guys can't see it, but it's just over here. But this whole bookcase here is all TTRPGs, all of it from the bottom top. It's like Conan, the One Ring. I've got 2 shelves of Pathfinder there. I've got Call of Cthulhu and all this, and I absolutely love it. But it is very divisive still. Really? 4th edition. Some people know, some absolutely loved it. For me, it didn't do it for me.
Never let it roll. Talk about their character.
Do you know what the thing is though? I don't have any because I was always DM. Because none of my friends could be bothered to. None of my friends could be bothered to write
That's
it.
The problem I was found with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I could say it's 100 years ago I used to play it, but I think, and you've talked about trying to run. Do some kind of role-playing game with us at some point. Yeah. But you do have to have somebody who's prepared to put the work in to actually be the GM and get on.
Oh, God. Yeah. When we
it's hard work.
When we did, we used to play MERP years ago, and the effort that the GM put into that was just insane, and an insane amount of detail. And background and just the research. It was. You
always really needed that special person who was really into doing it. Martin's clearly that person here, but I had a friend at school who was exactly the same. Would spend his whole waking moment trying to build the different dungeons and games up, and whereas me and Steve were probably the ones that spend as much time putting the flavour around our characters.
I don't know how well this is good shot. This is my first. So this was our Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition campaign book that I wrote. So I was 16. So this was 1996. No, that's when I was 12. 2000. So this bit back from the year 2000, I think, when we did this one. So all of this is handwritten adventures. All of this, I even with all the monsters, and then you get all of the. This was like our first children. Look, I even went to the effort of going to the school library. I don't even know why we had D&D books in the school library, but I'd photocopy pictures out of them to put in it, which no one would ever see. Of course, you got the obligatory, crap map.
Of course, gotta have
in the front of it. MERP was amazing. MERP is the one where you actually had a percentage chance of tripping over. So you come up with a plan, and then you actually have to roll the percentage thing to move. And if you roll sort of 5% lower, you tread on a twig and snap it, and the orcs hit you and then murder you.
Yeah, I remember one time we were playing MERP, and we were attacking a tavern. I can't remember whether someone had been kidnapped or what, but it was like the Keystone Cops. Like literally everything you might as well send in the Three Stooges to do it. It was completely just carnage. No one could hit anything. It was a disaster. But yeah, good time.
I don't have a character. I have a world. I don't have a character. I have a world. Thank you very much. And actually, ever since that game, every roleplay game I've written has actually been set in that same world. Because from when I wrote all of that, I've just always spun it along. But that's where my the ogre I was telling you about last week, the one who's in Guards of Traitors or Hadron the Collider, that he's in that. That was all my friends. But yeah, and that was it. First, my half-orc fighter played with my kids regularly.
Yeah. That's brilliant. Oh, brilliant.
But yeah,
this is
there you go. That's it.
Reminiscing or what? Jeez, I've forgotten how much fun I used to have with D&D. That was great fun. But that was, 100 years ago. So love it. Right. It wasn't that curvebally. I was really worried.
Well, I didn't. No, I did. For those people who are interested, I just Pendragon has a new edition out at the minute. That's written by Chaosium, the people who do Call of Cthulhu. So there's no fantasy, well, tiny bit. So Arthurian knights in shining armor, Dark Age, early medieval stuff. They've actually got a really, really nice starter set out now. So if you want to do some role playing, where essentially, there is no one to help you with magic, you will just get killed by his death. That's out. I keep on looking at it, going, that would be fun.
Right. There's been some fabulous comments in the comments and also on the Facebook page, so we'll come back to those. Let's do a little bit of news, and we can let all our reminiscences about D&D go down for a minute or two. Right, news. Let's do this.
Now for the news. But think, can you really afford this? Especially the weird shit.
Certainly not angry. What have you seen, Martin?
So I know you were going to mention this, but I'm going to mention it first. So Warbases have previewed their new Falomir set. So like their fantasy range, and this looks awesome, especially if you wanted to do something like Guards of Traitors Toll. And they're releasing it. I think it goes on sale on Friday. So you've got like the Hilltop Mill, the market. I mean, the market cross. A lot of this would be usable, historical as well. Market stalls. I quite like the jail and the chapel. The graveyard's pretty cool. To be fair,
graveyard would be useful. Yeah.
Then you've got the Alderwick House, Bramwell Bank. Look at these. Elderfin. So these will be going up on their website on Friday. Which is pretty cool, and it's nice to see. Yes, look, there's a lot. There will probably be an all-in bundle, and I can't. This stuff is so straightforward to put together. So yeah, if you are looking, but yeah, it's perfect for. We've just been talking about RPGs, and if you want to still have a board or Guards of Traitors Toll, or just any kind of fantasy or medieval themed war game, that kind of stuff is perfect, and they're good bunch. So yeah, you should go and check it out. So Pendragon. There we go. So we have some people that play Infinity, and that's another one. Infinity for me seems to have this massive surge in popularity. And then I don't know if that popularity has waned a little bit, but they come out with these really cool looking starter sets, and they got a new one on the way. So this is Operation Maze Breaker, and you get like a game. You get everything that you use play. So you get the map, the rules, the templates, the tokens. Good 2-player starter set, and then I believe these are all metals. So you get the nomads. My brother-in-law used to use these. He should drive me nuts because all they do is hack into your robot stuff and turn it against you, which really frustrated me. And it's against the Aleph, which are essentially the cyborgs. I mean, they're all pretty cool. Sort of, it's not quite to my taste anymore. If you pre-order it, you get this miniature for as part of the pre-order, which is pretty cool. Something a bit different. I really enjoyed Infinity when I played it. but again, funny enough, I did think about Infinity, but I wouldn't say that the game fell. I just sort of couldn't keep up with it, and just sort of my interest waned a little bit. I did like a whole board. I did loads. I got loads of sci-fi terrain for it. And one day maybe I'll get it out again. Speaking of terrain, have you heard the announcement from GW?
Yes.
So GW are going to be producing pre-painted terrain.
Is it
I thought it was a. I showed my mate that. He didn't believe me. I found it again and showed it to him. Yeah, so take a look at this. So
actually,
they're going to be producing these these sort of kits, and you'll always be able to tartan them up if you want to. But I mean, if it's this standard, I mean, I don't know what the price point is going to be.
Yeah, that's going
to be the big one. I think I think that's quite.
Oh, it's not bad at all.
Cool. No, the price point, they're going to have to be very careful because you got is it? Oh God, who is it? Is it Archon Studio?
Yes.
I think they do.
They
do pre-painted, pre-colored terrain, and obviously there's all the MDF options, so they're not going to be able to price it. I wouldn't say too high, but they're not going to be able to be ludicrous about it. I don't know. I think it's interesting. I know a lot of people who really enjoy making terrain, but I'm guessing that a lot of people just want to throw it on the table and have it pre-painted. And I've got to say, if that is the level of, I'm sure you can.
If that's pre-painted, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
isn't it? I think that's pretty good. I mean, depending on the price. Say the price is the key. But yeah, that's good. Interesting.
So it was pretty good. Anyway, that was what I saw.
Yeah, cool. Excellent. You pinched my building, so I won't talk about them then.
Sorry. Sorry.
I'll just show the whole range. There you go. So that's the whole range.
Oh, nice.
A couple of things from Flags of War that I picked up on. So obviously Flags of War is known for their flags. Ian does a brilliant job for them, and he's got a whole new range of Italian Wars stuff. So whole range of different flags. If you want your Papals, your Florentine, your Savoy, what else we got here? Another Papal flags there. More Florentine. So lots of good stuff there. If you're looking for some flags for that period, always worth checking out Flags of War, I think, for their flags anyway. Yeah. But also Ian's passion project, as we know, is the Jacobite rebellion, and he has another range of.
Don't show them.
Yeah,
I want them.
So these are the early renders, or whatever these the pre-production models, but. Look at those. I mean, that chap on the left is definitely eating all the pies. But wow, that's
great.
Brilliant, isn't it? I mean, it had to be a government forceman, doesn't he? There, you got some artillery chappies, really good indeed. There's there you go, a little petard of some sort.
That's so cute.
Another little tiddly petard there. So yeah. Really cool, and some more cavalry. So really, really good. Well worth, if you're into the Jacobite period, checking out Flags of War. He's already got quite a lot of really nice figures there. And continuing with that as a project. I think we've talked about these before, but Victrix showed off the renders of the new Welsh set that's coming. Which look mighty fine. I wonder whether somebody might be close to those.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Nice hoods on them, but there you go. Really good.
I think I echo Paul's paint job. I echo his comment. It's just nice to see them with shoes.
True. Very true. Really cool. And then the other thing I saw was Eagle Miniatures have released some new ACW cavalry. So obviously they haven't got the horses. You can buy them separately, but there's a whole range of those. And Eagle don't get enough love, I don't think, because I think they do a pretty good job of metal figures that are not ridiculously expensive. And they have a nice old range of figures for all different periods. So check out Eagle. And these ones, I believe, are up on their website if you want some cavalry. I think he's also working on some generals at the moment as well. I think he said in his post. So there you go. I think that's all I saw. Yeah, that was all I got. Anything we missed, let us know in the comments. Anything you saw, Steve?
No.
Fair enough. Love it. Right, let's have a look at some of the comments that people have been making. There was one that I want to go back to that Alec, our correspondent in Corfu, or wherever he is, came up with, which I thought was very pertinent. Here we go. He said, I used to play a lot of Saga, but it's become too complex with all the different factions and mercenaries, which are far too powerful, and it's become too hard work, I think it was supposed to say there. I think that's an interesting thing, isn't it? I think it goes alongside the kind of thing I was talking about with you kind of almost grow out of a game after a while. I hear what he's saying on Saga, because for me, I loved Saga. I thought it's a fantastic game set, but with an increasing number of, I'm going to say it, the factions and the increasing number of, different books that came out, to keep up was just fearsome. I always used to get a headache even just playing it normally when I knew the different armies, but then with all the different ones, I mean, a number of guys down the club used to go and play these Iron Man competitions where you rock up, you have no idea what you're going to play, and the armies were just sitting there and you just played whatever they gave you, and thought, bloody hell, how do you do that? What about you guys? I mean, it's just, they do it for 2 days as well. Literally, they play about 8 games over 2 days. You never knew what you were going to play. Every battle was a different army, different book, everything. And I hear what Alec's saying there, because I feel much the same sometimes, and I think I've certainly have grown out of some games. Saga probably is one. I haven't played it for years and years and years. What about you guys? Have you had that sort of situation where you just sort of like, it's just too complex?
Yeah. Well, Saga didn't. For me, we talked about this before. Saga was just good. I feel was just good at, my personal thing with Saga is I like the Age of Vikings, and I think it suits it. It suits the mythological kind of side where you have larger than life heroes. Once it started kind of trying to do this, branching out into history, and you have I kind of get, if they'd done like Age of Hector or Achilles or something, I mean, that'd be quite cool. But once you had like an elephant like charging into like 4 half guard or something like that, it wasn't really that, because I get the idea that you should be able to play against anyone, and people would just say, oh no, it's meant to be for heroics and that, like they do the Age of Chivalry, and it just sort of said, well, it just kind of felt like it was almost doing it for the sake of it. And I felt like, to me, I kind of agree, but I do like it for Age. I'll keep playing it. I do enjoy it. There is a space for it, but it's definitely, I don't play it as much as I used to. Now that sort of play a lot more of the Baron's War and Pillage, I find it a lot easier just to sink my teeth into those. But it's still got a place, I think, for me. Yeah, it's
interesting, isn't it? What about you, Steve? I mean, not just about overly complicated, but I guess these sort of rules that you just sort of move on from because for whatever reason they're...
Well, I can think of one where I did it the opposite way. It was when GW announced sort of the reawakening of Necromunda. I couldn't. You need books upon waves and things, and I just thought this isn't what I used to play. So no, that was, for me, it was bloated, far too bloated for me to when you try and get into a game and it's just, there is that bloat, it seems impenetrable, and like I'm not even gonna know what to do here. So
very tough for new players as well to come into, isn't it? If it's like that,
it is, and especially more so. I mean, when I grew up in the mid-90s playing Necromunda, it was simple. It was such a simple game to play. It was just the mechanics from second ed 40k. And I think that's why it appealed to so many people, because it was like playing second ed 40k condensed into 12 figures per side, and that really cool Necromunda background. But the sort of the redux of it just didn't do anything for it. The figures are lovely. In fact, I'd pay you money to try to watch you build a Necromunda gang, because they've got like some have got separate faces.
What? Freaking hell!
Separate faces. So yeah, the miniatures are lovely, and moving away from the old metal ones. But I just looked at it and I just couldn't work out. So, but on the other foot, I can't really think of anything any games that we've played where they have got a bit unwieldy or a bit out of hand.
Don't worry, Flesh Cloud. It's not happening. It's definitely not happening.
But Saga is a game I've never played ever.
Yeah, it's funny. Not necessarily. Saga's one that I did used to play off and on. It was definitely one of those things where I used to get the odd game here and there. But to the point Alex said, I kind of just, when it became so complicated and so many new editions, in fact, I've sold all the extra editions. I kept the Age of Viking one, and one of the others I forget now, but the others I just sold because I just thought this is just daft. I'm never going to play them, but yeah, interesting. I think there's certainly games I've played that I just kind of worn out of. It's just not really, it had its time and I've moved on from. And that's fine. No problem with that. There's so many other rule sets out there. I'm going to have a look at some of the Facebook posts that people put up. Kerry Thomas said, in the Grand Manor, I no longer play these, but played so many games at Cardiff War Games Club in the late 80s that I probably know the pluses and minuses charts off by heart. They were also responsible for an arms race of massive 15mm Napoleon armies, mainly by minifigs, just before the arrivals of battle honours. Now, I know Grand Manor is still played quite a lot. In fact, there were a lot of comments after that about people saying that, but I get where Kerry's coming from. I used to play a lot of, well, not a lot, but Grand Manor was one of those things that it was the thing that everybody played for big games. If you were playing big Napoleonic games, you played Grand Manor because it was the rule set. But it was complicated. Still is complicated, I think. Ever play that, Martin? Grand Manor?
No, I haven't. No, it's never one that I've... I mean, I think I've seen it get played, but it's never one that's made it onto the table for me.
Yeah. No. Axebreaker says Warhammer. He's with me on Ancient Battles, Warhammer Ancient Battles, and he reckons it was the company. Yeah, well, the company killed it. It's true. It was no longer supported. But my point was, why did we let it happen? Because the books are still there and still really, really good. And I know there is actually quite a thriving community still playing it, but the bulk of us, certainly people I knew, just dropped out playing for it entirely. Very, very odd. There's a comment here from Jonas is with you on X-Wing. Steve saying the X-Wing edition change is the biggest one for me. But when the local FOW, what's that? Flames of War. That's
Flames
it.
of War, yeah.
Turned into an armored car spam and became hopeless to play balanced lists. That was another one for him. So again, I think it seems to be the comments that most people put up were around the changes of editions or updated rules. We haven't even talked about our friends at Games Workshop and what they've done with various editions of 40k and other things. But that sort of edition creep, changing of the rules, starting again, seems to be a very common thread of why people drop out. Now, Ken, Yorkshire Gamer, came up with, I think he kind of missed the point a little bit, but then it's probably just because he's old like this. He said he rarely ventures outside the historical world for this very reason. Historical figures never die because you can use the figures for the next set of rules that come along. That was the point, Ken. That was the point. The figures are still good, but the rules might change. But then he also said he's played the same rules for at least 30 years. Most rules he's played for at least 10 years, and many of them over 30 years, and he's never changed. So yeah, Good for you, mate. But I think that, you know, that's the thing with historical generally is you don't have to throw away all your figures. Generally, you just repurpose them for another rule set, but it doesn't mean the rules don't change.
Does anyone remember that famous footage when Games Workshop announced that they were ending Warhammer Fantasy Battle, bringing in Age of Sigmar, and that bloke made a video and he set fire to his entire High Elf army?
Yeah. I mean, that's the best thing to do with a High Elf army, but yeah.
But now it's back, and he's got a very burnt and charred High Elf army somewhere.
Jesus.
Hobby Rush a new edition, isn't it?
Yeah. Hobby Rush says he got into the Grand Manor as a kid. It scared the hell out of him. He's now 43 and he still has it on the shelf and scared of it on principle. Yeah, I don't know. It's yeah. What else we got here? Lionheart said Saga was one of his favourite games. I introduced it to the club. We played it a lot, and then just dropped it for no reason. I think it was due to so many new games being released, like Pillage and Baron's War. Yeah, I think if it gives you, you know, if your itch that you scratch was Saga, and you find something quicker and easier to play that gives you that satisfaction, then it's probably something you move over to. And it also does depend on your club mates, right, and who you play with. Because if they stop playing something, or you get a different group of people you play with, that impacts it as well. I used to, back in the day, used to play a lot of board games, and I haven't played a board game for years now. But some of those we used to play incessantly. Third Reich, I used to play that. I mean, for hours and hours and hours. I mean, it was a game that you had to play for hours and hours and hours to play through. But we used to play it incessantly, and I've still got it. Still sits on the shelf up there somewhere. I wouldn't have I don't know anybody that plays that anymore. But anyway, it's one it. Andrew says I used to play Axis and Allies War at Sea. Must have most of the game in Western Canada. Spent thousands, and then the game stopped. I was relieved because I didn't have to buy any more. Like that. Trevor says, for me, the rule book I gave up was Games Workshop Warhammer in general. Got annoyed with them changing every army list every 3 years. Now when you play Games Workshop, what's that? GHFD, I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's Warhammer Fantasy Battle 6, yeah.
Fantasy Battle, right. 6th edition. No interest in getting back into any of their games. Yeah. You hear that a lot, and there were a lot of comments around Games Workshop games that they're just updating almost for the sake of it. I can understand rule sets that get updated because they need to improve them in some way. There's the erratas, you know, for all the bitching that went on with bolt action changing, the errata, when it was sort of about 4 times bigger than the rule book,
there was a lot,
needed something to be done to bring it all back together again. That's for sure. You can argue whether they got it right or not. I don't know. What do you say, Martin?
I said a bonfire.
Okay, fair enough. That's your comment on all Second World War games, isn't it?
No, I like Second World War games. One day. I still got to play this game of Battle Group that Robbie keeps on promising to do.
Jeez. Canvas Eagles is another one that fizzled out when Wings of War Glory came out. Says Wargaming History. Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing. If a game replaces it, it's better from a different company, but a similar period, I can almost understand that. I mean, there's been rule sets I can think of. Not I can think of the names right now, but where somebody brought out a different set of rules for a particular period we like playing, and we just thought they were flat out better. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fine. Slapshot says our wargaming group just got back into Black Seas Gothic. Battlefleet Gothic. The community kept the rules alive, and you can use 3D print of all the ships. Yeah. I think that's 3D printed. It's definitely 3D printed, particularly vehicles and ships and that sort of thing keeps a lot of those sort of games alive, and that's really
Well,
really cool.
I gave a really good example of a game that was kept alive by the community, and that's the Middle Earth strategy battle game, because GW did not support that for years and years and years after The Hobbit came out. And it was the community that really kept that going. I mean, you just got to chat to Dan Collister and Stu Mack, who started all their stuff was about Middle Earth, and the community really did push and keep that going. And then I remember when that announcement came that they were going to release that Pelennor Fields box set, which was all old models, apart from a couple of individual plastic sculpts that were new, and it was a phenomenal set because it was just such a good game, and that was really kept alive. So that, I think, one of the best examples that we still talk about, as you were saying, why did let it die? Why didn't you stop it dying? Is they didn't. And the same is true for Warmaster, Mordheim,
Mordheim. I think
even Gorka Morka. I think
Mordheim
you can say the same thing about Rapid Fire as well.
I
That's
think
another
Mordheim
one.
is a brilliant.
Oh, right. Oh, Steve's gone on the fizz. Oh dear, he's paused. It was just me.
Hello.
Oh no.
Hello.
There you go. Sorry, you went a bit fizzy there, I think. I was going to say the same thing with Rapid Fire in many ways, wasn't it? I mean, that was a game that was very, very popular and has been rejigged, very much so. A lot of people playing that now.
Good box.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting. Yeah. Oh, fizzy. That's it. Oh God, there was a comment there that came in and I missed it. Blood Bowl, another one, kind of was kept alive in that way, wasn't it?
Yeah. Now they fully support it. Keep going forward with it.
There are definitely games that people, as you say, have kept running, and the community's kept running, and then the company's gone, oh, maybe we'll go back in and do it again. Does that work? I mean, I don't know whether those, the fan created rules are better than the ones that the company comes back in and redoes.
Sometimes they don't. I think you'd be naive to think that they don't go and have a look at the forums and all the old forums and the pages to see what people are saying. But yeah, I think I'd like to think they do. Would make sense.
Yeah, interesting. I don't know. I mean, you would hope so, as you say. The whole point is kept alive. You would think.
One good thing about Mordheim is that GW just let it. I've just basically handed it to the community and said, they've not tried to take you back or been litigious about it or stop people from using the name. I think it's a game I never played. But I think it's got a staunch community behind it who just like to see the game still played. So yeah, great example.
Tony bringing back happy memories from WAB. WAB was cracking, but the Byzantine cavalry with kills from Kontos and kills from the actual bloody horses was mental. There were some very odd things that went on in that game, that's for sure. Some of the cavalry more deadly than the sort of, I don't know, something from science fiction. What else we got here comment wise? Kevin said, for many years I've played historical games, i.e. war games, big with lots of figures on the table, and board games and campaigns, Risk and my favourite Shogun. I used to play at the club with my son. However, we stopped playing as my son lost most games and refused to play again. But we still play board games. My gameplay is now more in skirmish, short games, and games like Undaunted. Historical games like 0200, 100 Years. I thought it was interesting. Yeah, I mean, again, I can see people's sort of appetites for what we used to love as. I mean, I know people have gone the other way from smaller scale games to really big games, but also from big games down to smaller scale games. Very much there, keeping their fix. And I think it's part of as we go through life. I mean, different things we get into different things, don't we? And they make you, change your habits around everything, really, but particularly around your gaming habits. That maybe what you used to love isn't quite what you love anymore, or you don't have the space anymore. That's the other thing, or the money to do the big things anymore. And that's all fine. Well, it's not fine, but you know what I mean. What have we got? Oh God, there's so many comments here. We got Red Steph said Johnny Reb. I think that was in relation to rules that you sort of grew out of. I think that was when that one came in, because that was another game that a lot of people used to play down the clubs.
Yeah, I've heard that come up a lot.
Again, I think it's one of those ones that if you go into the dark recesses of Facebook or YouTube, you'll probably find there's still quite an active community of it, but largely it's pretty much died away. Steve says, Steve, you still need GM for Rogue Trader.
Yeah, I can imagine it would work better. We used to have a GM. Like I said, when we used to play it, God, I started playing that in 1991. Crikey. It was, yeah, we had someone GM in it, and we used to run like inquisitorial war bands, and a lot of it we just made up because the rules allowed you to be really, really sort of flexible with it. But at its heart, it's sort of large scale role playing, but very, very. It's always worth a good flip through the original Rogue Trader book because the artwork is completely bonkers. the whole book is just mad from start to finish.
Excellent.
All right. Wargaming History says Johnny Reb 2 and 3, lots of charts of a huge Confederate army that's not been out of the box for 12 years. They were good rules, but lots of charts. Yeah, I think again that's a common theme with charts have fallen out of favor with a lot of rule systems and with players. That's for sure.
Yeah,
and that's probably why a lot of these games have moved on, because people are just don't want the charts anymore. They want quick, easy games that they can play in a few hours. On the whole, not everybody. There's still plenty out there who don't. Trad says Fire and Fury ACW Brigade. Fire and Fury was another one that was huge for a long, long time, wasn't it? And seems to have petered out very much so. Yeah. What else we got here? Flesh Clouds saying, warning us about where you go into Facebook. Thanks. Alex Storm of Steel said, I used to write my own RPGs. I made a science fiction one based on the Vietnam War, anything and everything. Yeah. I can see Alex as a GM, actually, couldn't you? I think
because it'd been brutal. My friend wrote one. There was a game based on 3rd edition D&D, an offshoot of it, and it was called Dark Matter, so it kind of brought it into like a modern thing called Alternatives. It was a bit X-Filesy, and he wrote a whole campaign. Do you remember the TV show Sliders? Do you remember that? Yeah. Sliders, where they would just jump. It was a bit like Quantum Leap. A group of people, and he wrote. We played that for a while, so we were jumping, and he wrote loads of his own rules for it, and we were like, so every week we basically did like a Quantum Leap, but rather you stayed the same characters, and you just slided every week. We went around there for a couple of months, and we were doing a new one until we all died in some horrific accident, I think. He got bored of writing it, so he just killed us
all. Matt said Middle Earth SBG had a big burnout for me. As soon as a new movie set came out, there were new rule changes and very limited force selections. One of the major things for the regular tournament play here in New Zealand turned a little sour with super competitive, seeing the over-optimistic lists over and over again. So just the same lists repeating. I think you were saying that about something else as well. Bit of a shame, but it hadn't. If it hadn't have done, I wouldn't have discovered all the other great games like Marvel Crisis and Dead Man's Hand, etc. I can see that. Definitely a boon. common
Dom,
theme, as I
it's
say.
interesting.
Mm.
It's interesting you mentioned lists. When I was playing X-Wing tournaments, I played a guy in Sheffield. And a year later, played him against St. Helens. Same list, same formation, same setup, same tactics.
Really?
Really, absolutely. Just
Oh my goodness!
Did you win?
so. No, he beat me twice.
Very good then, didn't it?
So that's why he didn't change it, Steve.
It was horrible. I couldn't believe it though. I just thought, hold on a second, this sounds this. And then I remember the guy, and I said, we played last year in Sheffield, and yeah, so yeah.
Wow.
I couldn't do that.
I couldn't do that. I mean, I literally, when I used to build army lists for competitions, I was thinking about what I was going to change on in the game I was playing. I was thinking next time I'll drop that unit and I'll have that one there, and it was constant. It was fixation. I think I've told you many times. I used to sit and pore through, WRG army list books to find the army that I wanted. It wasn't to find the perfect list. It was just the one that I liked to play. It had all the different elements that I wanted to have within my army. Martin's disgusted, I know, but that was that's me. It's okay. He's now list building with Baron's War, so it's all fine. It's all good. John said, I built up a considerable collection of 6mm stuff back in my teams. Played quite a bit using Bruce Quarry's tank battles in miniatures. Wow, that's a real retro. As well as using laser burn at the local club using 50mm Asgard sci-fi miniatures. Uni saw me switching to RPGs as they're easier to lug around at the end of each year. But even that got dropped when I finished my PhD and moved to Germany and then to the US. Having lived in the same country now for 20 years, I'm starting proper wargaming again. I did try laser burn again a few years ago on a nostalgia trip, but quickly realised my brain couldn't cope with the endless tables.
No, God, I've never played laser burn, but I've seen the rule book, and it is numbers. You could tell Brian Ansell was. I think he was a mathematician or something, as well as a very talented gamer and sculptor. But numbers all over the place on laser burn. I mean, it looks nostalgic, but I was going to play it one time. You can get the rules. I pick up online. I think John said, "Don't do it."
Oh dear. Mark said, for me, it was WRG 6th and 7th edition in the 80s. That reminds me. And then came WAB, late 90s and noughties. God, was it then? And I enjoyed, but until GW pulled the plug on resourcing them, and WG went to DBA. Enough said about that. Yeah, I think we'll stop talking about that. However, at CrackCon 5 introduced me to Hail Caesar game that solved the gaming hole in my ancient rule collection. I've enjoyed every game of Hail Caesar ever since. Thank you, PCP and CrackCon. Oh, there you go. We'll start with it. We'll finish up with that one. There you go. A bit of self-promotion talking about that. CrackCon is coming very, very quickly.
It is.
Yes. And so you'll be getting, if you've got your ticket, I should say, and you've signed up for games, you'll be getting contacted by us in the coming weeks for details that we can then pass to your game organizer, and also vice versa. So you can stay in touch with them just to let them know if you're not going to be there, basically, because we have a reserve list for a bunch of games. It's going to be cool. And then obviously we shared the. Should we put it up again? Where's the cool?
Yeah.
Where's the cool artwork? There it is. So we'll have news about. There it is. So we'll have some news about like the hoodies and the dice, all in good time this year. It was really nice as well. We started receiving donations already for the raffle. I've got this on here from Grant that you brought around. So they were already getting a pile going. So please do get in touch. We're very happy to have them, basically. So yeah, I was really looking forward to it.
Sorry. Yeah, nice. Yeah, which reminds me, we need to start going begging the companies to donate some stuff for the realm. Right, shall we have a look at some of our wonderful communities' work? What they've been working on. Reminder, join the Facebook page. The link's down below if you're not already a member. Click along there. Numbers are going up nicely. I'm still getting loads of people who just don't answer the questions, and you just get thrown out. Sorry. No, not everybody, but it just means we can try and keep it under control in terms of making sure we haven't got any spammers or 3D designers or God knows what else. Some of them are trying to sell us. I think largely we've avoided them, touch wood, so it works. So answer the questions, please. Otherwise, I can't let you in. Sorry. So a reminder, we try and show a few bits and bobs of what people have been working on, some of the games they've been playing and so forth, because there's just some awesome variety of work that's going on people's collections. So I'm going to start with something I need to get back into, a bit of epic pike and shot. This will bring back memories for you, Steve. This is Oliver's, so it's the Marquis of, Newcastle Regiment. But whatever, they are fantastic. Really like those.
Really, really nice.
Very, very well done indeed. Ken talked about this earlier on. Eccentric man. He's been working on some dwarves, some real retro dwarves, which I think he's going to use for Lion Rampant. I love the colours on them. They're
very, very, very cool.
Also, we've got Don has been. These are very colourful fellas. So this is Bellicose Foot, also for Lion Rampant. I don't know what faction, nationality, whatever you call it, they are. They look bloody impressive. Look at those. Gosh, cool. I like the flag too.
Very, very nice.
Very nice indeed. Also, Dave was showing his massive Napoleonic game. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
That's great. I do love the game. I'm definitely getting. I haven't played anything for ages, and I'm definitely getting withdrawal symptoms. I'm going to have to go at something very, very soon. I picked this one up for our erstwhile colleague, wherever he may ride. He's probably been called up to some maritime adventure. Joseph showing off his Messerschmitt 109s, because I know Ken is seriously into them. Beautifully done, though. Look at those.
Very nice. Very nice.
Really, really nice. So Lewis was also showing off his 40k game, which I think he had against, I've forgotten who he had against, another member of the community. They had a game up playing some 40k. There's a red side and there's a blue side. That's all I know.
Cracking looking scenery.
Very
there.
cool.
You want some really high scenery.
Yeah. Very
see-through scenery.
More into my comfort zone. This is look at these early Hebrew by Paul. Fantastic. The
nice.
Tones on those are amazing. Yeah. Really, really cool. So that's Paul's early Hebrew force for biblical period, I guess. Very nice indeed. And Steve. I thought they'd get excited about that, Steve.
Hey.
That's his. Wow. I like them. Oh, there's a Vader there. Didn't realise that when I first picked that one up. Oh yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Phil has been working on. Now he's doing the Chain of Command games using for the Cold War period. So these are some vehicles they've been working on for that. And they are mighty nice. Really
lovely
nice
stuff, Phil. Lovely stuff. Yeah.
Good indeed. And then we also got Woot. He was showing off his 100 Years War figures. So this is, I think he said this is no particular retinue or anything like that, but he just wanted some general cavalry. and they do look good. Don't know what manufacturer they are. Are they Perry's? Not sure.
They might be. Yeah.
Might.
Maybe. That's about the only box of Perry figures I've never actually had. It's only the 100 year figures, so I don't know. Let me know in comments down below if they are. And Alex always comes up with some amazing paint jobs, and that's another one.
Oh, jeez! Wow,
that is
Look at that.
hugely impressive. Absolutely
That's
brilliant.
ridiculous.
That's so nice.
I mean, it's an orc. I know that much. But I just love the paint jobs. That's extraordinary. And then I show this one for all of us that want to downsize our collection in some way. Chris.
Hey.
These are 2mm pike and shot forces. They're just amazing. How the hell do you paint anything on those? I suppose you just blob a colour, isn't it? Really?
I don't. Do you know what? The more I see of 2mm, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I just think they look really different. Yeah.
In some ways, I think I prefer them to 6mm. You know, I can see where you're coming at, Steve.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
No, actually, they're a bit different, and I really shouldn't be watching videos about them. I really shouldn't. But but they're intriguing. I'll be distracted about 30 seconds anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there you go. That was a nice collection of different things. So as I say, a reminder, if you're not already a member, join the Facebook page because we love seeing what we're up to. So, chaps, what are we up to this week? What are you up to, Steve? More X-Wing and Baron's War for you, is it?
I'm hopefully going to finish the second Baron's War starter retinue this week.
Nice.
I've been writing up a couple of bit of background for a modern-ish skirmish game for Rogue Skirmish Warriors. I think that's what it's called. Because I've got loads of scenery. I want to do a nice factory setup and make use of some of the agents by Wargame Command. So I do like some of that. But yeah, I'm going back to the painting. But I'll also be watching X-Wing videos and trying to get my mate round for another game of X-Wing because it's like going back to a really big, nice, comfortable old chair.
Talking about comfortable old chairs, what are you up to then, Martin, this week?
This week I got a game this week, which will be fun. I'm working on things which painted up, which hopefully I'll be able to talk about very soon. And yeah, I'm going to carry on just working on videos. I think I'm still trying to sort of edit videos. I've also got plans for sort of 3 or 4 other ones that I want to make. So I'm trying to build things all at the same time and just be a bit more sensible about when I release things. But I'm just really enjoying it at the minute. So yeah, that's my plan. That and annoying developers. That's my That's what I do. That's what I do. Oh, and my wife, annoying my wife. That's it.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's we all do that. Not your wife, our own wife.
Well, as long as I come home and Tessa isn't, like reading a book about Fred and Rose or Dr. Crippen or something, I think I count that as a win.
Well, for me, I'm going to spend most of the week trying to avoid looking at. Warlords very kindly sent me the PDF of the new Highest Throne supplement for Pike and Shot, which I've been reading through. And now I am trying to resist the urge to get Winged Hussars.
On the channel next week, Winged Hussars.
Yeah, Winged Hussars, nailed on, 100% guaranteed.
No, actually, the worst thing about it, and I've done a little read through, which is going up on the channel. So watch this space. But it's got, I was talking about being fascinated by a video that was about the Portuguese in Ethiopia.
Oh yes.
Guess what army list there is in this book?
I see.
Yeah.
And I've just binned off all the figures that I've collected to use them for something else. And now there's a bloody army list in there, isn't there? So anyway, so that's going to happen almost certainly. So that'll be me. Steve. Oh no, Steve. I did start looking at 10 mil. I looked at 15 mil. Oh Jesus, it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. I might as well just release it. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it. I had a good old chat there and good hearing what people get up to and what their thoughts are on games. Appreciate everyone's input as always. Next week, are we on your channel, Martin?
Yes, we're over on my channel, where all being well, we'll be accompanied by Rob, who's just dropped into a chat. Actually, I've just seen, and we're going to be chatting about his app and to keep track of your wargaming collection and how he's managed to get 36,000 different types of miniature onto his database and what drove him to do it. We've all had a go at it, and so we're going to go. Dom is going to catalogue everything behind him, and
Dom is not going to catalogue everything behind him because A, will scare the shit out of him, and B, somebody might be able to hold it against me.
You break his database. You just crash every. Yeah. So that's what we're. That's it. So yeah, that's over on my channel next week.
Brilliant, awesome. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight as always, and the interactive chat has been brilliant. And we will see you next week. Have a really good week. See you soon. Daddy bye.
Take care.
Bye.